Hi guys, Lucia at Lushspaces. In today's video we'll be talking about how to design with bulbs for your spring displays. And as garden designers, we like to think of few things when we're designing with bulbs. So the best time to plant your bulbs is actually in autumn or spring. And I'll be showing you how to do everything in the next video, so stay tuned. But in this one, as I said, we'll talk about how to design with them. And there are a few rules that you have to think about when you want to be planning and planting your beautiful spring bulb display. So the first rule is to keep it simple. So don't try to use all of the bulbs that you like, all the different colors and shapes and forms, because that would just create a huge mess, unless that is what you're actually after. But if you would like it to look designed, or sometimes actually for garden designers it's actually much more of a challenge for planting not to look designed. Try to use more of a subtle palette of colors, shapes and forms, or even height. And a great way is to plan for a display throughout the season. So you have different bulbs popping up at different times, different colors and different shapes. And in that case, your display will last longer, and you also will have something to look at throughout the season. But this as well means that your display won't be as jaw-dropping when all of the plants will come together at the same time. The next rule is to be generous and plant them in big numbers, obviously if the budget allows you. And you'll see why when they actually will come to flower, and you'll be amazed by the color and the beautiful displays that you will get. Bulbs are very easy and very cheap way of bringing color to your garden. And if you are on a budget, for example, you don't have too much money to spend on, then maybe just concentrate on few bulbs and plant them where you actually will get to enjoy them. For example, at your front entrance in a big pot, where every time you come home or you leave the house, you will get to see those beautiful flowers. Or in your back garden, where your sitting area is, maybe where you are drinking your coffee, or you're inviting your friends over for a drink, or even on a windowsill where you will get to see them when you're doing your wash up. Rule number 3 is to build up your clusters with always odd numbers. So use the amount of numbers like 5s, 7s, 9s or 15s. Obviously for smaller bulbs like for example crocus or snowdrops, you obviously will need a bigger amount of bulbs to create a cluster. And for bigger bulbs like daffodils or your alliums and tulips, you will need smaller amounts to create bigger clusters. And also don't forget to change the size of a clusters throughout the border. For example, if you are planting tulips, also try to repeat them down the border. So plant a smaller cluster, then further down plant a bigger cluster and a bigger one again, or smaller. Just try to change it up so it looks more natural, and also naturally your eye will be drawn down to the border as well. And the last rule is to make it look natural. As we said, you want more of a naturalistic look rather than a regimental look. So the rule here is to never plant your bulbs in rows or lines unless you are planting for cut flowers, for example. The funny thing for me is that I always remember bulbs, so tulips, daffodils and others back home in Slovakia being planted in rows actually. So my childhood memories are these. So to me it doesn't actually seem weird because that's what I'm used to. But it doesn't mean that that is the way to do. So unless you want it for your cut flowers, so it's easier for you to cut in line rather than here and there, plant in different shapes, different clusters, and always change the sizes of clusters throughout your border or in your pots as well. So there you are, your 4 tips on how to design with bulbs. As I said, stay tuned for planting out the bulbs in our garden. So I'm going to plant these in our garden, and until then I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day and I'll get planting.